I recently released an episode called How to Market Your Best Self. It talked about promotions, job hunting, switching career paths, just trying to rebrand yourself. That episode will help you construct an improved professional self-image. But what happens if you listen to that episode and do all the things suggested, but you're not seeing the results you want? There may be some underlying factors. Then this episode is for you. Episode 94. It's all in your message. Welcome back to the Career Growth Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Craig Ansell. We're rolling into episode 94, titled, It's All in Your Message. I shared in the intro a reference from a recent past podcast episode. It was actually number 91, called How to Market Your Best Self. And these two episodes are tied together, so I do want to give you a brief background on episode 91 before we dive into today's show. I recommended in episode 91 to use the resources around you. It will help boost your marketability, and this should help boost and skyrocket your confidence. When it comes to resumes, make sure you set up your resume for each specific job you go after. I call this targeting a job. I offer targeted job coaching and also my resume masterclass at craigansell.com if you need any help with that. Also, when you're thinking about your job and your future, dress for the job, the promotion, the life you want. That dressed up image will help you be more confident and exude the goals, the directions, the desires that you have. Fuel your body and your brain. Read or listen to books, podcasts, or YouTube videos on areas of your life that you want to improve. With all that said, let's roll into today's episode 94, It's All in Your Message. Part of what inspired content for today's show came from a recent conversation with my hairstylist, Lola. She's also a new listener of the Career Growth Made Easy podcast. So welcome, Lola. We got talking about our side hustles. I shared that my day job encourages resource groups and that I have mentored in several of them over the years. Also, based on my mentees' incredible feedback, I pursued career growth coaching through my own business, and here I am today sharing it with you. Lola went on to share, besides providing detailed, high-quality haircuts, she also enjoys doing eyebrows. I listened as she explained further. She routinely gets photos and videos of her clients that have posted on social media showing off their facial expressions with her eyebrow work. I offered she could create a tagline, similar to the sports apparel company Nike. They're known for Just Do It. Taglines are also used in resumes, believe it or not. I call them highlight statements. It's a brief, bold statement that grabs your attention up front and is trying to set you apart from others in the crowd. For Lola, I suggested instead of talking about what she does, I do eyebrows. That's great. But I think other people do them too. What about the tagline, my clients are proud of their eyebrows? She immediately was receptive and said she wanted to start using that right away. Lola, thanks for the conversation. And I also have something further for you regarding your tagline to enhance it a bit further, but you'll have to wait till the end of the show to get it. So back to today's show topic, messaging. Both she and I have a passion that goes beyond our day jobs. It's what inspires us and drives us. After a long, hard day in the office or the shop, we don't go home and sit around and relax. Nope. Most days we're working on our side hustles. Don't get me wrong. There should be time to relax, de-stress, exercise, pray, maybe take a peaceful walk. In a nutshell, our messages can be spoken about, seen, and even felt by the actions we take. What messages do you typically generate during your work week? How about after hours? That is, once you're off the clock and phasing down from a long, hard work shift. Then there's our messaging on our days off, such as weekends for many. Are you genuine? Meaning, are you the same person acting, communicating the same way on weekends versus the work week? That's a tough question to answer. You might instantly want to respond, of course, almost as if it was a defensive action. But think about it. Truly pause and think about it. Has a family member, a friend, maybe a coworker, seen you outside of your work environment and said, "You're so happy, you have so much drive or passion," or "You have so much energy, I don't know how you do all the things you do"? If so, that's great. Congratulations. But do you carry that same happiness, drive, passion, or energy into all the things you do, including your work? If not, that can affect your messaging. There may be underlying reasons why you change your personality or your expressions when you're in certain environments. And that's why I brought up the topic for today's show, your messaging. You can do everything that I suggested in episode 91, how to market your best self. And I mentioned quite a few of those items in the beginning of the episode. But if you're truly not being the person that you're trying to be, if your image, if your reflection is someone that is fake, you're not going to be able to achieve the things that you're marketing yourself after. You can dress to impress, yes. You can pursue certain promotions, certain job careers or paths, even rebrand yourself out of one main career path into another. But if you don't have a message that matches what you are marketing after, you're going to have discontinuity. As a result, there's going to be confusion in what people hear, see, and think about you. Our messages not only extend personally outward, but they also extend on paper. Virtually when we write emails, when we send texts, then on physical platforms such as your resume, your cover letter, things of that nature. Furthermore, your message and your marketing come out when and if you're able to win an interview. Why I'm bringing all these things up? I gave some personal examples of communication and how Lola, for example, could use a tagline to change her image and change the way she's branding herself. But thinking about Career Growth Made Easy, the title of this show, and the premise of why we exist, your messaging needs to be consistent in your 9 to 5, as we say, in your work environment. It's also important that it's consistent outside of work so that you're showing your genuine self to others. You're showing up genuinely all the time, 24/7. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect. In fact, I'm far from it, and I don't expect you to be perfect either. There's no such thing. You can attempt to achieve perfection, but it's highly unlikely. What we're trying to do is be consistent through most of our days, during the hours we work and during the hours we're off the clock. Why am I focusing on that? There could be underlying reasons why your personality changes or your expressions change when you're in certain environments. If you don't understand my point, just think about a certain situation that happens. You're driving along, and then all of a sudden a car in front of you maybe swerves off the road to avoid something, or swerves out of the lane, maybe has to apply the brakes because a light suddenly turned red and you have to react quickly. That could be a situation where you're scared, you're nervous, having to take evasive action, evasive maneuvers. That's how you're feeling at that moment. Your expressions, your feelings could be fear. They could be anger that the other person was not paying attention and the light changed red. There could be a number of factors. The point is, we react to our environments, and that can affect our outward expressions, how we communicate. The communication's verbal, but also nonverbal, our body language. All these things are critically important if we're truly trying to accelerate career growth made easy. Marketing ourselves, our best self rather, our messaging. So, circling back again to Career Growth Made Easy and where we are today, I do focus on resumes, I've talked about cover letters, and I do focus on interviews. and techniques to not only win the interview with your resume, but to kill the interview and get the job offer during the interview. And it's not only important to get a job offer, it's important to get a good salary-based job offer, a good pay rate job offer. So, bringing this all together about our marketing and messaging. When we go after a job, our resumes need to be specific and focused. I mentioned briefly earlier, I call it targeting a job. Next, if you win the interview, your resume needs to portray and exude your best qualities, your best values for that future company that's hiring. Once you get in that interview and in the door, it's all about consistency with your messaging. The hiring company likely has already made a decision if they're going to hire you, if the interview goes well, what your salary range will be. Perhaps the salary range is $40,000 to $60,000 a year for this particular position you're applying. If you have a resume that's quote, acceptable, and it gets you the interview, that's a good thing. But what happens with an acceptable resume versus an exceptional resume? The difference is, yeah, I think we can get this one in. Let's interview them. They're an okay, they're a maybe, they're an if. Exceptional would be, we need to get this person in here. Their resume is awesome. I can't wait to speak with them and learn more. You see the difference? It again is about marketing and messaging. Now, about today's specific point. We need consistent messages from the beginning to the end and throughout our conversations, our communications when we're searching for a job. As I said, it starts with your targeted job resume. You bring your best foot forward so you get the opportunity to win the interview. Then, when you're in the interview, it's about being consistent. It's about having the same story, the same message, the same qualifications. You aim to impress. There shouldn't be any surprises during your interview other than you putting, as they say, a cherry on top, polishing your resume off, right? Going in for the kill. If there's things you're bringing up in your interview that are impressing the company, that's great. And you still may get a decent or a very good job offer in the sense of a salary and benefits. But pay attention to their reactions during the interview. Steer the interview in a way that's beneficial for them and for you. Be cautious of what you communicate, knowing you can stop talking at any time. And if there are certain things that make the hiring company, the interviewers, raise their eyebrows when you speak, use that to your advantage. If they seem curious or interested in something you said, offer to expand on that further. Or if there's something particular that their company is looking for that you might be able to key in and share from your past. Now, with that said, you know they're interested in that particular subject, that particular content you just brought up. It potentially could help you by putting it on your resume for a future job application for a similar role, because that certainly showed value to the hiring company in person. Why not spark their interest? Why not score that extra point when it comes to applying for the job and winning your next interview? Now, if your messaging is clear between your resume, your interview, and any follow-up content that you might provide by phone, by email, it's likely you're going to get a callback for a final interview or a strong job offer. And what I mean by that is it should be at the higher end of the salary scale. Why bother sending in an acceptable resume, having an acceptable interview, and getting that job? Great, congratulations, you've been selected. We'd like to offer you $40,000 a year in this example. When you would have to work several years at a couple percent points per year to earn pay raises to get to 50, 55, or even 60,000, the top end of that initial salary range. Why do that when you could take the time now to focus on yourself, your marketing, your messaging, your resume, your interview preparations, so that you can then come in at the mid to higher end of that salary range? Not only will you feel more confident and proud that you prepared, but this is a perfect example of going from $40,000 to $50,000, maybe $55,000 a year as an opening salary offer. You can still negotiate, so maybe you can pull that up a few $1,000s more or negotiate some additional benefits. But think how long it would take from 40 to 45 to 50 to 55, and you have the opportunity by tying in your marketing and messaging to get that up front. In essence, you're going to be making that higher salary from day one rather than having to work at a lower salary and be hopeful that you're going to earn those pay raises. You're going to start out at a higher salary and enjoy the benefits year after year. So in closing, we've talked about Marketing Your Best Self, episode 91, if you'd like to go back, and it is complimentary to today, and episode 94, it's all in your message. Now, Lola, I haven't forgot about you. We talked about a potential tagline. My clients are proud of their eyebrows. Let's expand that a little if you'd like. My clients are proud of their eyebrows. They dream them up. I make them happen. It's all about our messaging. Thank you for being valuable listeners of the Career Growth Made Easy podcast. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I'm always looking for feedback on social media at Craig Ansell, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And if you'd like another platform, we're now on YouTube. Let me know how marketing and messaging have helped you today in our discussions. I'm always up for some feedback, but make it constructive so we can always improve. If you're up for one-on-one coaching, there's a link to schedule directly with me. I offer 4 types of coaching sessions specifically focused on getting results, similar to today's discussion on targeting a job, winning an interview, and winning the job offer. If you're someone that likes digital classes, I have my Resume Masterclass online that you can consume at your own pace, along with my Cover Letter Masterclass. Cover letters aren't dead. They are being used less today, but if a job requires that when you submit your resume, don't ignore it. Make sure you include a cover letter. If you don't know what one is, or you're not sure how to craft a strong one, my Cover Letter Masterclass walks you through from a blank sheet of paper to final creation. I hope you're doing well. Have a great week ahead. I'll catch up with you next Monday. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our channel. New episodes every Monday. In the meantime, why don't you follow us on social media at Craig Ansell on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To book a coaching appointment, download our free guides, or join our email list, check out the links in the description below.